The mask war is refusing to go away even as COVID cases and deaths surge in places where the rhetoric is most heated and where it's hottest, right, including Florida. But it's something that we have seen across the country. Shouting at school boards, confrontations in parking lots, and in one case, an elementary teacher ending up with stitches. Here's CNN's Rosa Flores.
When it comes to masks in schools, it's some parents who are behaving badly, having face-to-face confrontations, and even burning masks. The tension and division mostly fueled by misinformation.
Let them breathe! Let them breathe!
In Texas, a parent ripping off a teacher's face mask at school last week, according to the school district's superintendent.
I don't want these mask wars being fought in our schools. I don't care right now what you believe.
In Northern California, an elementary school teacher had to get stitches for cuts and lacerations to his face when an argument with a parent over masks turned physical.
The female principal intervened to say, hey, it's time to go. Like, you stop.
Now the parent facing multiple charges, including battery on a school employee, according to the district attorney. The rage spilling into school board meetings for months now, like this one in Utah.
So I taught junior high school, and you don't scare me.
In Pennsylvania.
Stop, please.
Tennessee and Wisconsin, too.
Enough. This is inappropriate. These folks are your neighbors.
With some meetings abruptly ending in the midst of screaming protests.
Quinder, I move that we adjourn this meeting.
And public officials openly threatened.
We know who you are! No more masks!
How to combat this war over masks? This dad, who says his 5-year-old understands the concept of wearing face coverings,
and it's disappointing that more adults around here can't seem to grasp it,
is pleading for civility in the national conversation. Rosa Flores, CNN, Houston.
Rosa, thank you very much. I want to bring in now CNN political commentators Ana Navarro and Scott Jennings. They never have much to say about anything, so, I don't know. That was sarcasm because they're always feisty and opinionated, which is why we have you here. We love you guys. Good evening to both of you. Ana, it is crazy, these battles over masks in schools. They're not letting up, even as cases and deaths are rising. Why is it so hard for people to realize that this is really this is the best way to keep our kids safe now?
Don, because they're in this zone where they think it's a crusade for personal freedom, and they just can't get themselves away from that. And so instead of looking at the numbers, instead of looking at the statistics, instead of looking at the rise in cases, the rise in hospitalizations, and the rise in deaths, they're doing things like listening to politicians, to craven politicians who are exploiting this subject matter for political gain, which is, I frankly think, immoral. And we are seeing more and more that cruise lines, like Disney today, are saying, no, regardless of what you're telling us, politicians, we're going to require vaccinations and masks. And airlines are extending, the FAA extended the mask mandate, and the biggest school districts in places like Florida, my state, are imposing mask mandates for their schools. And I say, let us allow the experts, let's allow the educators, the scientists to set the standards, not some governor or not some politician running for re-election or for the Republican nomination.
Well, you mentioned that because there's this new Quinnipiac poll, Scott, that shows 60% of Florida residents support requiring masks for students, teachers, and staff in schools. So, when DeSantis says that Florida parents want to choose for themselves, he's wrong. Most of them support mandates.
Well, I think, if you're a Republican politician, though, right now, one of the clearest sort of battle lines that we have in this country where you're trying to show the most committed conservative activists that you're one of them is on this mask issue. I think as it relates to the parents who are upset, though, I think it's far more complicated than just simple politics. I mean, I was reading this article in New York Magazine this weekend about this CDC data that came out. This article is called "The Science of Masking Remains Uncertain at School," and it makes a pretty compelling case that there are real questions about whether this is as effective as people have been led to believe. And you have this group of parents who are repeatedly saying, I have questions, and they're being told to sit down and shut up. And so that's no way to bring anybody along. And so I think violence is wrong. These stories where people are hitting each other and they're having altercations, ripping up, I mean, that's crazy. and that shouldn't be occurring. But at the same time, I don't think schools and people who are in charge in these areas should be telling parents whose kids are in the schools, sit down and shut up. You're not allowed to express an opinion or ask a question. There has to be some kind of middle ground here where questions can be asked that, by the way, in this case are based on CDC data, without parents being feeling like they're being told your opinion isn't valid here.
Well, I don't know what data you're talking about in New York Magazine, but every data from every expert shows that masks are effective in cutting down the transmission of the virus, especially if two people are wearing it. If one person is wearing it, not so much, because the other person obviously can spread it. But if both people are wearing it, or everyone is wearing it, it shows that it's actually quite effective. So I'm not sure what I just don't want to give people fake information.
I would encourage you to read it. I mean, it says. I mean,
I have a subscription to New York Magazine. I will read it. But I have seen the studies from not just magazine articles, but from experts who actually, it's their job to study that, and the people who actually work in hospitals, they wear masks for a reason. It's because they work.
Well,
Surgeons wear
Don,
masks.
and I
the
have
frontline workers wear masks.
I've spoken to doctors who work in children's hospitals, and I can tell you that in the first variant, there wasn't the level of children affected that there is right now. You know my best friend, Lee Schrager. His husband works at Miami Children's Hospital. They are full with COVID cases right now in a way that they weren't before. We all know this. We hear it from places like Arkansas. We hear it from all over the country that this is happening. These are not fake cases. And so I don't understand how we as adults are acting like animals instead of trying to protect those that are under 12 who are depending on us to protect them because they can't protect themselves.
But even if it says, look, Scott, if you say as effective, let's just say it has some percentage of effectiveness, then what's the point? Even if it has 20% or 30% or 40%, it still helps. So why wouldn't you want to protect the least of these, especially children who are vulnerable, who can't get a vaccine? I don't understand that. I don't even understand why the whole questioning of it, especially in the fact science is science.
I think that, first of all, as you know, we've discussed it. I've been a rule follower the entire time. I sort of believe that.
Except you haven't been doing what all of us have been doing, and that is gaining weight. So I don't trust you on any of this.
That's right. That's right. I'm going the other way.
You're going the other way, but go on.
He's doing intermittent fasting, Don. We're doing intermittent eating.
Yeah, go on, Scott.
Yeah. But there have been some medical professionals who have raised, and I think some parents have latched onto this, have raised the questions about what are the long-term impacts of sort of enforced masking of these young children in schools. What is the impact on their learning? What is the impact on, their language development, et cetera, et cetera. And I know there are a lot of opinions, and some doctors say no, some doctors say yes. But I think the point is some parents have looked at some of this and said, well, I'm concerned about that. And then if you layer on top of that, maybe some of their political views, and you layer on top of that some school administrator telling them to sit down and shut up at a PTA meeting, you can see how this is a recipe for all this stuff boiling over. I agree that I don't think we need violent interactions. I do think we need more dialogue on this, and I do think we need more collaboration. And I think part of the issue here is people feeling like their voices are not being heard, and that leads to an escalation of voices, which leads to an escalation.
I don't know how you say that the voices aren't being heard when we see meeting after meeting where both sides of this issue are airing out their opinions. And look, you and I grew up in a Republican Party where local control was a central bastion of being Republican, and allowing businesses to make their own decisions was also a bastion of being Republican. And today we have governors, Republican governors, who act as if they are in Mount Olympus and they're telling everybody else how to act. For them to be using the governorship as a platform to bully local school boards is simply wrong. And it is against the Republican tenets that you and I grew up with of local control.
I've got to go, Scott. I know you probably want to respond. Here's what I have to say before you respond, and if you can do it quickly. I understand the whole thing about, yes, all those points that you mentioned, you should be able to discuss those, how it affects children, whatever. But if the child is no longer there, you can't correct that in the future. They're gone. You understand what I'm saying? So there are issues that you can deal with. Is my child behind in reading? Well, there's a way to correct that. There's tutoring, and we can catch them up in the summer. We can do all of these other things if your child is with you. But if your child is no longer with you because someone didn't want to wear a mask to protect them, there's no amount of correcting. There's nothing you can do beyond that point.
I totally agree with you that for the most part, people who want to do the masks in schools are doing it because they think it's the right thing to do by public health, and I am not disputing anyone's motives. I do think more collaboration with these parents and less making them feel like they're being talked down to might help de-escalate some of these situations. That's my only point.
All right. Thank you both. I appreciate it.